I'll bring it up. Yeah.
Okay, cool, 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 cool.
Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to Whispering Hope weather update. And here to bring us our weather this afternoon is none other than meteorologist, Mr. Lenard Josiah. Mr. Josiah, good
Yes, my
afternoon.
brother. Good afternoon
What's
to
happening?
everyone. Good
What's
afternoon.
happening with the weather today?
Oh, the weather today is nice and let's say stable. We're not seeing too much in the way of showers at all. The dry conditions are now over us. There is a high pressure system that's sitting on the atmosphere. It's cupping the atmosphere, so we're not having any deep layered cloud formation. So the showers are not necessarily with us. So in the context of weather conditions, these conditions are expected not only for the next 24 hours. We're likely to see that these conditions go down into the next 3 days or so. So during the course of the weekend, we should be sitting nicely, looking forward to a nice and quiet weekend. However, there is an area of disturbed weather which I know that we will just speak about in the next couple of minutes. But before I get to that, we could know, or we should know, that tropical or hurricane, major hurricane Laura, she went ashore last night with 150-mile-an-hour winds. Yes, she left a trail of destruction, but I also think that they fared relatively good in the context of what a 150-mile-an-hour storm could have done. I think a lot of people heeded the warning messages. They left, they got evacuated, etc. So I'm not too sure in the context. I have not heard about any significant deaths or deaths at all, deaths told, etc. So in that context, because I haven't heard about any deaths in the United States, that they should be good. Not saying that they were not deaths, it's just that I have not heard about it. But we will continue to monitor that particular situation. Tropical Hurricane Laura has been downgraded to a tropical storm this afternoon. It's still a threat with respect to rainfall, but that's not necessarily anything for us. It's an academic interest, but we will pay more attention out east right now. My brother? Yeah,
Okay, so here we are.
that's that's right. That's right. That's right. We continue to look at the National Hurricane Center's display of areas of interest. The X marks the spot where they were located as of this afternoon, 2 p.m. The one way out towards the east, just near to the Cabo Verde Islands, is an area of disturbed weather. The National Hurricane Center suggests that it will move towards the west, and as it moves towards the west, that the conditions should be a little bit more favorable for tropical cyclone formation. That's a next week stuff. So we're going to be monitoring that very closely. That's basically a next 5 to 8 days out. A lot of things can happen as of 5 to 8 days out. The models at this time, looking at 5 to 8 days out, has a lot of errors and a lot of uncertainty to them. So there will be adjustments in the track. There will be adjustments in where the area of interest is likely to form. So it's something that will give us a heads up as to that when we are monitoring what we need to monitor for. So this far out, with respect to about 5 to 7 days out, we will be monitoring it. The National Hurricane Center suggests that it could form into something towards the east of the islands, and that is going to be certainly of interest to us. But there is another area that is midway between Africa and the Eastern Caribbean. That area has also just about 10% chance of doing anything within the next 2 days. But in the next 5 days, the National Hurricane Center has upped the chances of development to just about 30%, meaning that that particular area of disturbance, roughly about 1,200 miles east of us, as it moves towards the west, it is forecast to enter into a more favorable area, and hence it could develop into a tropical cyclone. But right now, the chances are low for that to happen. Nonetheless, residents of Antigua and Barbuda Barbuda, depending on the atmospheric conditions between now and the next 2 days, could be looking at another area of disturbed weather and a more so of interest to us in the Eastern Caribbean. And hence the reason why we need to pay very close attention to these two areas more so. Let's look at the first one as an area of critical interest, while we're looking at the second one of just interest for right now. Both areas are going to be monitored. As you could see, that the area closest to us, X mark number 2, suggests that it is very close to the island chain, roughly about 1,200 miles out, and it will be of interest to us in the next few days as it moves towards the west or west to northwest. So residents of Antigua and Barbuda and the rest of the leewards should really be paying close attention to this, and we will be bringing you the updates as they come to hand. My brother?
Yes. So we are, September is greeting us. You know, we looked at this chart on Monday after Laura passed us and went her merry way, and we thought that would be clear for 5 days. Then something happened yesterday, slight disturbance. Then today, there are 2 disturbances. It seems like September is going to have a busy welcome. A busy welcome, let me put it that way. And so many people, wow, it's the time we fear most, all because of Louis and George, and then any later down in the year, those are times we fear most. And so we are happy, very happy to know that our people
definitely
have advised all along to be prepared. And I hope they
be prepared.
are getting prepared.
Be prepared.
Because
yes,
definitely. May not be lucky. We may not be lucky. We're hoping for the best. We're trusting God for the best, but we are not absolutely sure what's going to happen. None of us can be sure. So as you look out, you said 5 to 7 days and another 2 for the others. But what is the weather? National Hurricane Center, you did indicate there's 5 to 7 days to predict. But
the probabilities for the first one as of 2 p.m. this afternoon to develop was around 30% in the next 5 days. Based upon my forecast that I did this afternoon, the national forecast and the outlook that I issued at just about 4 o'clock today, the models are suggesting that that area of disturbed weather, the first one, area X number 2, is likely to be in the vicinity sometime Monday or Tuesday. That's generally between, let's say, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. That's about 4 to 5 days out. So residents of Antigua and Barbuda should be paying close attention as we go through the weekend. Even though our weather for the weekend should be generally okay, we will certainly want to keep our eyes on the Eastern Atlantic, Eastern Tropical Atlantic, because we could actually be having some tropical cyclone activity out there. And the residents of our Twin Island state and the rest of the Leeward Islands and islands further towards the west should be monitoring the progress of this system to keep abreast of the changes. Because as you just mentioned, that even up to yesterday, we were looking at an times these things can be introduced. The weather can pop up with respect to areas of disturbance that we ought to be monitoring and we ought to be tracking. The models are now suggesting that there could be some further development. And as we look forward to a quiet weekend, be very mindful that the tropical cyclone activity in the Eastern Tropical Atlantic could also be active at that time. So residents of our Twin Island state should be monitoring these two systems very closely and to make sure that they are informed and that residents are remaining informed.
Okay, so we will pay close attention to what the meteorologists are saying. We want to thank you again this afternoon, Mr. Josiah, for taking the time out, for coming on Whispering Hope and keeping us informed. May God continue to bless you and have a great presentation tonight on ABS TV.
Thank you so much. God blessing us. Thank you so much for the great wishes.
You're welcome.
Okay, my brother.